Hi everyone, this is Caroline. Since I'm not going to be on the committee next year, I thought I'd put together a quick video to show you how the LibWizard tutorials work so that you can edit the drafts that we started and you can create new ones. So that's what this is. This is what the editing screen for the LibWizard tutorials looks like. So what are these little boxes? When you have a tutorial, the tutorial consists of the main part of the screen where information, videos, PDFs, websites, and whatever you're trying to teach can be presented. And then it also consists of this section of the screen where you can give instructions, give questions, and things like that. So how do you get these two sections into the tutorials? Each one of these main boxes are the presentation portion of the tutorial. So I can drag a new one from over here, and my options are to include a already built LibGuide, a website URL, in which case the teaching portion of the tutorial will include that website and you'll be able to use all the links on that website. You can put in just a still image. You can also put in a rich text editor, which is just a WYSIWYG editor, and that will also allow you to include an image, but it'll allow you to add text to it. So that may be the best option if you want to add an image and text. But your other options are to embed a PDF or to embed a video. In order to add any of these things, you just drag them over to here. When you drag in something, you give it a title. I'm going to call this test so I know which one to delete later. Notice that I can, if I drag the wrong thing, I can change it. So I could right here change it to a PDF, in which case it'll ask me to drag and drop a PDF. Embedded media, in which case it'll ask me to put an embed code in there. An image, in which case it'll ask me to select an image from the image manager. A website URL, and it'll ask me for that URL. But I did intentionally choose custom content so that I could show you this. If you choose that, you click Open Editor, and it gives you this WYSIWYG that you're used to. You can drag, or you can click on the image button and browse to put in any image that you want. I usually give them a 20 pixel border and set their alignment to the left so that then I can put text over here. Now you can see that this image is too big, so I can click on image again over here. I usually make these images 300 width, and then I can add text however much I want. And I click Save, and I click Save. And when I create something new, then it gives me this. I can see what I've already created for the teaching portion of the window by clicking here. And that's what we just did. If I decide that I made a typo in that, I can click here and open that editor again, and it lets me put more stuff here. And I click Save again. If I just want that to be hidden, I can just hide it and unhide it there. Now this, once I have content, teaching content on my slide, this is where it lets me drop in questions. And these are all the types of things that I can drop in. I can have a student able to enter one line of text or multiple lines of text. I can have them choose from a drop down. I can have them pick one answer with radio buttons, pick multiple answers with checkboxes. I can have them give options a star rating. I can have them rank options. Or I can just put in a text block, or I can do all of those things. So first I'm going to put in a text block maybe. And I'm going to say instructions. Some question, and then I'm going to say choose all the correct answers. And then maybe I'll put a checkbox in here, and this will be my question. Here is my question, and then down here are my options. And I can add other if I want to. Now let's see what this absurd thing that I've built looks like. If I want to see what everything looks like so far, I can click right here and click preview. And so here's my absurd little image. Here's the stuff that I wanted to teach about. Here's my instructions. And then here's my question. If I go back over here, I can edit any of these things. If I want to fix something in this, I just click edit, and there's that. Or edit here, and there's that. Or again, if I want to edit the teaching portion, I can click there. When I'm done and I want to add more teaching content, I click on back to tutorial. And then I can add another page. Maybe this one's going to be a PDF. So I drag that over there. And I embed any PDF. There's one from my desktop. And I'm just going to call this test again so I know to get rid of it. And the process repeats where I can put more questions in here. Another test question. And then if I'm done with that, I click back to tutorial. Now, I know that these two are garbage because I just did them to give you a quick show. So if I've done something that I don't want to keep, I can delete the teaching screen and all the associated questions by clicking on this delete field. It says, are you sure? And I am, because I know I just did those as junk. So I'm going to get rid of both of them. So that's how I would add new things. What if you guys are looking at this in the future and you're like, no, I found a typo in here, or I want to change the wording or whatever. It's the same process. These are my teaching slides. So I click to edit this, and I can preview my teaching content here. It's just a picture. If I want to edit that, I click on edit, and I open the editor, and I can do whatever I want there. Or if it was the question area that I want to change, You see there were 2 questions on this page. Let's have a look at what this page looks like. Here's my teaching area. Here are my questions. So if I want to change something in this first question, then I go to this edit button. There it is. I can change whatever I want. And then I can go back to the tutorial and see other things that I can change. Now, one last thing that I want to show you. These are all tutorials. So if I go to tutorials and I go to the folder that we're creating these tutorials in, what if you all are ready to start on the high school guide, for example, and you want to create a new tutorial? You click, once you're in the folder, the InfoLit folder, you click Create New, and we've been creating standalone tutorials. You can either create one from a blank slate, or you can choose the middle grade or the elementary grade guides as a template. And then you just give it a new name and a new friendly URL like high school or whatever. I'm not going to do this because I don't want to create junk guides in here. But when you do that, then whichever guide you copy, it's just going to copy the entire guide, and then you can just use it to put in the new information for high school. And you can delete things and add things, but that might be an easier way than starting from a blank template. So I hope that video is helpful and makes it easier for you all to edit the work that we've done so far and to create new stuff. Thanks and good luck.